Welcome back to Valley News Now. I'm Adam Shalafu. We'll soon be bringing you a meeting from the Fargo City Commission. A little background on the meeting. The Fargo City Commission this week voted to eliminate several positions, including two from the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department. The impact of this decision is a topic of discussion at today's Human Rights Commission meeting at noon in Fargo City Commission Chambers. Stand by. We'll bring you the live stream of the meeting in just a few moments as that begins.
Hello, welcome to the September Human Rights Commission meeting. We do not have a quorum right now, so we're able to vote on anything as of yet. See if anybody else comes in. If we want to just acknowledge the various people here, if you want to go first, whichever. Do you want to go first?
Hello, Tambasa, Commissioner Member.
Nancy Boyle, Commissioner.
Cody Severson, Chair.
Kristen Nelson, Commission Member.
And somebody online, I think.
Courtney Fromback, Commissioner.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, and so we just have the agenda in front of us. We don't have I think the meeting minutes will be sent out via Ahmed later on. So we can't do either of those right now. So discussion on a chair and a vice chair, though, we won't be able to vote on that either right now, but we can at least talk through it. According to our bylaws, the chair and vice chair, I believe, are both two-year terms that need to be voted on each year, and so I am at the limit of my 2 years that I'm able to be here as the chair, and I believe Saku also. Dr. Hogan, do you know if Saku is at his 2 years at the vice chair? Did he meet the 2 years? I don't remember. No. Okay.
I believe the answer is yes.
Okay. We would need to vote on a new chair, a new member at large, the third person on the executive committee. We'll do that at the next regular scheduled meeting that we have then. If anybody would like to be nominated for any of those, you're welcome to. I guess that's all I have on that for right now. Anything else we need to say about that?
No, we can't make nominations without a quorum here.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we get a quorum, either today or the next time we meet, as long as it's on the agenda, we'll be able to pick the new chair and vice chair.
So maybe clarification on that piece as well.
Yeah.
Since we have current members in the chair, vice chair, and member at large position, would we be taking new nominations, or would the vice chair then become the chair, the member at large become the vice chair, and then we would nominate for somebody for that member at large position?
It is certainly a norm to see the vice chair become the chair, but it does not have to be that way.
Okay. So there's flexibility per se.
Correct.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we now have a quorum of individuals with Courtney being virtual. So I guess first off, I'll go back up to number 2 and ask for a motion to approve the minutes as we have them.
Make
So-
a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you, Courtney. Okay, so in that case, we will move into the chair and vice chair. I would like to am I able to nominate or no?
It would be best if the chair was not the one who did the nominations.
All right, open for nominations for chair.
I go to nominate the current vice chair, Saku, to become that chair of the Human Rights Commission. And for the member at large I can't nominate myself, so I'll be quiet starting now.
All right, can I have a motion for Saku to be the new chair of the Human Rights Commission?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? Saku, is that okay? Okay. All right. All those in favor of Saku Sirleaf assuming the role of chair for the Human Rights Commission, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Oh, thank you. I need to wait that moment, Courtney. I'm sorry. Okay. And then also then for vice chair, I guess theoretically, like we would kind of move the at-large member up to vice chair position. If that's something that the commission would like, if I could have somebody make a nomination. So currently Nancy's in the position of at-large member, and kind of our thought was that it would follow the same thing of like just kind of going up into vice chair. If other people on the commission are okay with that, it would then be nominating her for the vice chair, unless anybody else would like to see somebody else.
Yeah, I'll nominate Christine as vice chair.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Yeah, I think so. I think that's an Ian question.
I'm sorry, I did not hear the question.
Saku was wondering if he could nominate somebody for the vice chair position.
So the nomination, what we do is we do a motion, and then there would need to be a second on that motion, and then you'd vote on that person. If that person vote failed, then you could have somebody else make a motion.
All right. So,
So I believe you had a motion to nominate.
yeah, I'll move to nominate
Okay.
Christine. Yeah.
Okay, so can I get a second for that nomination? That would be from one of you.
And if there is
So
no
we're voting on a vice chair now?
Currently Kristen for vice chair position.
Okay.
No. Is that something that you would want to do?
I
Exactly.
don't know if it's in my capacity to be vice chair.
Okay. Okay.
Is there a way that we can kind of table
'Cause-
it and talk amongst each other in our next meeting?
Well, I would move to nominate Nancy.
What we've done
Okay.
previously as well is because the member at large position started, right around a year ago,
Yeah.
year and a half ago, so it was that third individual. And so within that, if I'm hearing you correctly, that the vice chair might be a little much, but that member at large piece may
Correct.
be an area that you would be interested in understanding a little bit more as far as what that would entail, and then potentially moving into that vice chair position down the road. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yes.
And besides that, I mean, it depends on how long she's been. Because if she's vice chair and maybe I'm incapacitated, she has to. So it has to do with seniority, maybe the time you came in.
And so if I heard correctly, though, you did make a motion for Nancy to be.
Correct.
Okay. To nominate Nancy for vice chair. Okay. Do I have a second on that?
We can just-
Second.
That's it. No, that's a correction.
So I think the first motion was for Kristen, that, I think you want to say failed for a lack of a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we could start with the next motion,
Yes.
which was made by, sorry,
Kristen.
Kristen made a motion for Nancy to be the vice chair.
Yes.
Okay, and then we just need a second.
And I
for
would
that.
need a second for that.
And then I second.
Okay.
Then we could have a vote on that.
Okay. All those in favor of Nancy assuming the role of vice chair for the Human Rights Commission, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries for Nancy Boyle as vice chair of the Human Rights Commission, and then so right now we have that third member that is the
Member at large.
Member at large, yes. And so I guess
Come back and take its motion from Kristen.
What was that?
So you want to nominate her?
Oh, for member at large. Okay. Yeah, so I'd like to move to nominate Christine as member at large.
okay.
I second.
Okay. Motion second. Can we move in?
You didn't have to have a vote.
Okay. Yep. All right. All those in favor of Kristen Nelson taking on the at-large position in the executive committee, say aye.
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 All right. Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion carries. Kristen. So we have a new executive team for the Human Rights Commission. Then, thank you very much, folks. That's great. Yay. Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, folks.
Congratulations.
All right, so number 5 that we want to move into was just a discussion over kind of the impact that Monday City Commission meeting has on the Human Rights Commission, which is a pretty big one. And we want to talk about how not gonna lie, how much that negatively affects City of Fargo and us as a whole, as like we have to get new bearings over the next couple months as well. I mean, it was pretty telling that at the City Commission meeting that there was a number of white individuals that stepped up to acknowledge that it would be unfortunate for City of Fargo to not have the DEI department, and then people of color stepping up to tell us that it is important to have the DEI department. Those kinds of interactions are really telling about what we need as a city, even in terms of how much we're growing and acknowledging how much that growth does involve people of color. We need those. Does anybody else have any comments on this?
There's a lot to be said, and I'm usually one that talks quite a bit. Within this, I hope that the city at large continues to look at the reality of the makeup of this community, not just that of national origin and race, but looking at all protected classes that need that additional voice. I mean, systemically, we've seen throughout our nation in the world of voices not being heard. And that's not only why we exist, but we need the city to understand that. Not just understand it, but live it and breathe it. A couple meetings ago, I think I spoke of, we can say a lot, but where's the action? And that's where I believe the city as a whole fell short of providing an opportunity. Mayor Mahoney even said it Monday night too, that the city did not do the best job in managing the department and setting out goals, objectives, etc. So what can we learn from that? What can we do moving forward to make systemic change and not be in the position again that we have multiple individuals, thousands of individuals in this community that right now are not feeling heard or validated or that they belong.
I mean, just to add up to what you said, I mean, accountability is not just the start point. This is a bigger picture. The city, like you said, the city is exponentially growing. There are plans to construct more homes in the next 20 years. So taking into consideration all of these new changes, new factors, it's very important that we look at the bigger picture. It's not just about, okay, the DI is not giving the necessary impact as needed to the community, but it's more about embracing new Americans, embracing, new Fargoans, and just creating that general settings that everyone can feel involved and part and parcel of. A lot of the decisions that is about to be made, careful that has to be thought of. Like for example, one of the positions that they're about to get rid of would be the public health analyst position in the name of budget shortcut. I know that's perhaps might be out of our range, but I'm just looking at the technicality of the decisions. If you look at public health analyst position, you're saying it's not necessary. I don't know. It just shows to me who the actors behind that decision making might not be well informed or do not exactly know the function or responsibility or importance of a public health analyst for the city. Because I have a background in data analytics, and when I saw that, I was like, I sort of questioned those decisions. But just coming back to DI, I hope that they can really look into that. And one thing that also caught me was one of the commissioners talking about DI would be embedded in the various departments. Like, how possible is that? We're talking about a department that's so much necessary that covers the entire city. This is not a departmental thing, And I don't know. I just question a lot of the opinions and concerns and questions that they raise around this issue, and I hope that they can rethink it and come up with a better option, if not a better decision.
go ahead.
Just to add a little bit, piggybacking off that, I mean, it's been a national discussion in the past couple of years as well, the idea that human resources is not DEI. Like, human resources needs to be separate from DEI in order to have a sustainable impact on the community that you're serving. Human resources was made for the organization or company to assist those employees, not and for like a city type unit, human resources should not be. And in my, I guess, continuing with the national conversation, human resources is not set up to deal with the community at large.
Right.
And so I just wanted to add that in as well. Go ahead, Rochelle.
I'm very, very frustrated, and you can hear in my voice as I talk because I believe that, and I'm stepping away from like the political side, and I'm just talking as a civilian. And you could tell that the DEI department was a beard for the city, and I'm just going to be straightforward. The intention was not there for them to execute in a way for success. I want for everybody to be fully aware of it, because for the mayor to go ahead and acknowledge that there was not a goal, and then for us to be holding them accountable for not reaching set imaginary goals is crazy to me. The department itself was set up to fail. And it was set up to fail in a way where they could then go ahead and say, hey, we tried. To merge the DEI department with human resource is incredibly, I have to watch my words because I don't want to go ahead and say something, but I think is incredibly careless of the city of Fargo, and to say now that each department will have some type of representation, that goes to before the DI department was set up. Isn't that what we had? And it did not do its best. It was not representative of what the city of Fargo looks like. There's a lot of people who are truly going to be impacted when this department goes. And it's not, and I want you guys to take your mind out of the Black immigrants that's here. We're talking about the LGBT community. We're talking about the handicapped community. We're talking about the homeless community. There's so many community that is going to be affected by this decision, and it's so careless for us not to think beyond what we have set this imaginary goal of, and to go ahead and them keep making decision that's not benefit in Fargo. It's like we're moving backwards in a sense. There's not a goalpost where we know that once we hit it, we can reflect. Now taking away like the data analyst position that you was talking about, one of the things Fargo has lacked is the data. We don't have data about anything. We don't have data about the minority community. We don't have data about immigrants moving here. We don't have data about the minorities or in the fire department, police department, whatever department. We lack so much data, and then you finally bring someone who can bring these data up, and then you're getting rid of the position. It makes no sense. So what are we doing? Like, who are we holding accountable? Is it the city? Is it the faculty? I think the city of Fargo needs to go ahead and hold themselves accountable and not pass blame on these departments that they brought in and set up to fail. They cannot be their scapegoat, and we demand some type of explanation other than we mess up, guys, but we don't need the department because we're cutting budget. Where's this money going to?
Thanks, Rochelle.
I think
you bring up a good point. I think it's incredibly frustrating to parse out DEI into human resources. That is not the scope, I think, of that department, right? Like, who's going to take the calls from the city, like you all were saying? Who's going to take the calls from constituents, or when people are fed up at the arbors again? These things are happening all the time. And like you said, there was no mechanism set up in the department to meet those milestones. There was no way to show, what the impact of the department is, right? And you got to wonder, was that by design?
It was.
Right? And so if it was by design, as a checkbox, right? It felt like a checkbox. And it's frustrating because DEI work is so impactful and so incredibly powerful, especially when we keep talking about, and our city commissioners keep talking about, how Fargo is supposed to be this welcoming community on the Red River, right? Like, we are the welcoming community here, yet it doesn't matter. Like, we take our wonderful leader who is well educated in the department or in DEI, and just take it away because, oh, we tried. There was no impact there. Well, what are the benchmarks that we were trying to impact? What actually was it that we were trying to impact?
Nothing.
Our commissioners, you know, I think it was easy for them to say, you know, it's something that has been on their chopping block forever, you know, for the political purpose, right? To save the face, to save from the phone calls about when our friends were here talking about the genocide that was happening in Gaza. That's now one thing that, you know, we don't need to handle that anymore because we got rid of DEI. It's just one less thing to do. And but you know what is important? The Fargo Dome expansion. I'm sorry, it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah,
like,
that's
Courtney, yep.
Preface some insight. Okay, thank you. And I mean, I'm going to preface this with I'm a new commission member and I don't have a lot of the background that all of you have, but I can sense that there's frustration in terms of where the oversight of our commission is going to lie. And I am wondering what our role is in helping or ability to influence that and provide some recommendations or a strategy that we think could be best to continue this work. Also, knowing that this might translate some responsibility to us as commission members. So is there still the potential for us to make those types of recommendations? And if we do that and it's not within the human resources division, what is the best division? And how can we help to set the stage for making an action plan when somebody calls in with a matter that impacts us? And also, how can we work with the city to determine how we can provide some measurable items and accomplishments that we can progress through our commission and communicate those to the community? Because if there is any way to reestablish this division in the future, we're going to need those accomplishments and facts and data behind us. And I heard someone mention that the data right now is lacking. So how can we help support that?
And I'm gonna look at the camera. Everybody out there watching us and that's possibly gonna be reviewing this, go vote. That is basically the answer to every single thing. Go vote. We have some people who are currently sitting on our commissioner post who basically gave us sugar water and said they're going to stand for a community that is not visible to the city of Fargo. And
Put yours a little bit farther away. Thank you.
we have commissioners that entire run-in was on the betterment of Fargo, especially the marginalized people, and they're voting against the DEI. They're voting against public assistance. We gave them our vote, and now when that call came out, they're not pursuing or basically keeping their word. So the biggest thing that we can do is put in representation on the city of Fargo, in our governor chair, in our city council, in all of these important seats here locally for them to make the changes that we're desperately asking for. Go vote.
And to that point, I think there was only about 8,000 to 9,000 people that ended up voting for the last city commission, which is only a tenth of the population of Fargo. And so, like, that outreach needs to be expanded.
Yes.
To Courtney's point, just to put it out there, I believe that's a conversation between Dr. Hogan, more Brenda Derrick, probably your department, and then Nicole Crutchfield's department to establish the leadership we have moving forward. The vibe that I get is that we're gonna go back to planning, which It's just unfortunate to not have individuals designated for us. But Brenda, do you have anything to add on that, or no? Should I? No. Okay.
I was here on Monday for the city commission meeting, and I think the whole thing is contrived. It's the budget is just a pretext to the actual intention. Nobody is stupid. We're not foolish. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, so they had to draw a false equivalence. So DEI does not stand alone, so they had to go into health to eliminate something from there, to have a false equivalence that, oh no, it's not just DEI, we also did it here too. That is preposterous. The city government is insincere, and I will say that emphatically. They've been insincere. Very, very insincere. And been lazy too. If I ran the city government, I should be finding ways to create more revenue, to generate more revenue. It's not to deactivate a department. Why don't we find a way to generate revenue? Eliminating DEI does not still satisfy your budget. Your budget's still going to have problems. So why not find creative ways to generate revenue instead of... When I sat here on Monday, I asked the city commissioners what was the black population in city of Fargo percentage-wise. They don't even know. These people are insincere. They don't even know. They didn't even know. You go right to the Inforum and you see it right there from the 2020 census. The city of Fargo is 8.8% black. So from 2020 till now, you know it's even way more than 8.8%, and they did not even know. So you're trying to do something you have no idea about. It's been insincere, it's been lazy. It was intentional. Now you deactivated DEI. What happens to the HRC? Because the HRC is a department under the DEI. So did they think about that? The creation of DEI was not thoughtful, and the elimination thereof was also not thoughtful. So it is just wrong. Human rights wise, it's wrong to have close to 10% of a population with no representation and people think it's cool. It's nonsensical. It's ludicrous. And whoever is advising them, they're all wrong. And they will pay for this. They'll pay for this at the ballot box. We will make sure it hurt them at the ballot box. We can't let them get away with this. They knew what they were doing. You set up a department and give them no power to even do anything. Even the HRC, that's what I've been saying. We're just sitting here just to check the box. So around the country, oh, the city of Fargo has an HRC, the city of Fargo has DEI. If you don't want to create a department, you don't have to copycat from other places. You don't want to let people know that, yes, there's no city of Fargo is not an inclusive city. No, but the city is making great strides towards diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want a more inclusive city. That's what we should all be fighting for. It doesn't matter what happens. We are here, and we're not going anywhere. Fargo is my home. I'm a business owner here. I work. I pay taxes here too. So don't I count? Don't people of color count? Don't we pay taxes here? Are we not all helping to grow the city? So why can't we have representation? If we don't have any seat in the city commission, at least we can have a voice through DEI. And you say, no, you're going to cancel that, and they go to hurt the Department of Health because you want to draw false equivalence. It is shameful. And they have to understand that. And as the incoming chair of the HRC, I will not stand for that. Emphatically, I will not stand for that.
Yeah, and just to piggyback of that quickly, this is a typical example of a situation where voters or residents of Fargo needs to pay attention to when it comes to electing these commissioners, these these local city authority. We focus so much on national elections, but these are typical examples, right? You having these decisions, you got to know and study your candidates, who they are, what they think of, what's their belief system. You got to let people who have a global perspective on the issues, not just innate understanding on local issues. Because at the end of the day, decisions that are made affect people massively, and sometimes we overlook these things. And I hope that Fargoans can really, really see this as a turning point and dedicate to get more involved and get that education on how they can really get engaged with their local leaders. These are the same people who almost tried to eliminate public comments. Do you believe that? The same people. A few months ago, they tried to eliminate public comments for no reasons. Using talking about their budget, city budget, and stuff like that as an excuse. There wasn't much time to create room for public comments. So if you have a leadership or a group of people who say, hey, public comments needs to be limited to that necessary, how do you perceive that?
Because they don't care about the people that lead. They don't care about the people that lead.
That's why I don't trust the decisions they make, and I question a lot of this thing to do. Yeah.
And I think one of the only other comments I'd like to make on it is just that I think that next to DEI, maybe the smallest department inside City of Fargo was the inspections department, which has been struggling at like a handful of people for a very long time. And just acknowledging that a handful of people were having a difficult time administering services to the entire City of Fargo, let alone two individuals in one department that were assigned to handle services for City of Fargo. And it's just it doesn't seem plausible to me to have to be able to make any sort of movement or have effective effort in that way with two individuals. We need the department needed more to be able to thrive. But any last comments we want to make in this area right now?
Yeah, the question I would like to ask now the city leadership is, what happens to the HRC?
Sure.
Because the HRC function under the Department of DEI. So if DEI is eliminated, automatically the HRC is also eliminated. So what happens to the HRC?
Yeah, that's also my question.
Not eliminated. That would take more. That would take more, but leadership is up in the air. And Dr. Hogan, have you had any conversations with leadership about what that looks like?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. Just assuming is that.
Yeah, that was my only last question. Oh, sorry, Dr.
No,
Hogan.
go ahead.
Just assuming when I came here is that the program was under the planning department. And at that point, when I arrived, it was under my department. So at this various point, I can't even answer that. No discussion whatsoever.
So are we sunsetting a program and with no way forward, or no, where does that come from? Do we, as the executive team,
The problem is it's not
meet
just
with, to designate the path forward on
So
leadership?
that's a conversation between the three of you, Dr. Hogan, Nancy, hopefully Brenda, and Mike Redlinger, and then over the next month or two, and is find what happens and bring that to the next meeting.
This is very dangerous. The fact that even the talk of or whispers of the elimination of this particular department, and knowing that there's subcommittees or commissioners that's under it, and not properly even informing us or giving us the play-by-play on how this is gonna look, and then who by November are we going to be talking to, and who are we going to be reporting to, and who's going to be in our department. And the way everything is set up, and I keep going back to, it's just set up for us to fail. We are just left alone. I've
thought about that.
Yeah.
So I think it is how we're going to start to build it out, right? Like, I think if this is important to us, and it very much is, we need to ensure that our voices are at the table for when we have those working meetings, when we have our own commission meetings, so we can say these things and get them on the record for the city to hear. But we also intentionally plan that path. So I think that'll be the work of the executive committee going forward. And we can't use this time as a time to just be like, oh, well, they think we're worth nothing, so we're going to complain and not be worth anything. We need to take these things, and we need to ensure that we all show the value and show the importance, because I know, I was hoping some members of the community would be here today, but there's a lot of people around the city that do depend on the work we do.
I definitely understand what you're saying, but it only takes me back to our meeting we had a couple of weeks ago, or like I think a month ago, where I asked a straight up answer. What are we here for, and what do we do? And it's word for word, verbatim. We only can recommend. So even us fighting for the Israel and Pakistan issue, right? We got tabled. So my whole thing is fighting for our personal issue.
So we didn't
Do you
get
get
tabled.
what I mean? Like the authority we don't have, let's be honest, with the city and those who are watching us, is we don't have that authority to be like, we want to do this and we have that power to do that. We don't have anything. We can recommend, and that's it.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And our recommendation went to the city council. We didn't get tabled. It went to the city council, which the city council voted. I mean,
Yeah.
And sorry, for whatever it's worth as well. So the Human Rights Commission has always been just wildly different than any other subcommission that City Fargo has. We've always asked to do things like a lot differently than any other subcommission, and it's always thrown lots of wrenches out there. But I would implore the new executive committee to just to also push back on who's asking for more resources. Unfortunately for Nicole from the planning department, more time that they can use for y'all as well, because it's always been a thing where we come with ideas and then they help us to make those grow. Brenda had worked really well with us when we were sending the ceasefire resolution up to the city of Fargo and determining how that verbiage needed to look. And so there are discussions to be had. It's just, it takes a lot of time and energy to do that. And so just measuring that within yourselves. Okay. All right. Thank you, folks. What a conversation. I guess with the last 20 minutes that we have here, Dr. Hogan, did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
I think that you guys have said it's been well said. It's been well said. I have nothing to say. Thank you so very much.
Right. And with that, we'll move into announcements. Nancy, I think that you have a stack that you'd like to go over for us.
Yes, I should make it through this in the next hour, only 3 folders worth. I'm kidding. Many times I'll bring up upcoming events or awareness events as well. So want to make sure everybody's aware. We are currently celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month. It goes from September 15th to October 15th, honoring contributions from the past and the present. This year's theme is Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together. There is a multitude of events happening throughout the FM area. You can find that on the college websites, also a handful of nonprofit sites as well. In October, we'll also be celebrating National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And when you think of this, we all work alongside somebody that has some form of disability, if it's an invisible disability or something that we can see physically. And in understanding that journey for that individual and for us to acknowledge who they are, all that they give back to our community, looking at ways of honoring them, not just the month of October, but each and every day to make sure they are heard and they know they are welcome and that they belong. We also have in October Domestic Violence Awareness Month. There's a multitude of not-for-profits just right here in the community and state that do work benefiting those that have been victimized, one of them being the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center of Fargo Moorhead. Their service is free of charge. If you want to support that effort, they do have an upcoming event October 26th at the Armory Event Center in Moorhead. It's the largest fundraiser they have each year, called the Harvest Moon Fling. We also have North Dakota Cause, so Coalition for Women's Services. They're based out of Bismarck. They connect that of individuals that have experienced domestic violence to local shelters, trauma centers, and provide hope as well. And then also locally, we have the YWCA of Cass Clay, provides emergency shelter to women and children escaping that of domestic violence. They also have a 24-hour crisis line. Just one more to share here. October is also going to be LGBTQ plus History Month, looking at that of what our community can do to continually stand up for that population, providing that voice. Also during that month, they have started to include that of what they call Ally Week, where students and individuals are encouraged to be allies to the LGBT community, understanding more about the needs for that community as well. And then there's Spirit Day on October 20th, where you can wear a purple ribbon in honor and providing support as well. And that is in that of the anniversary of the death of Matthew Shepard. Many of us know that name, a 21-year-old who was murdered in a hate crime back in October 12th of 1998. The State of North Dakota Human Rights Coalition will also be having that of the North Dakota's LGBTQ plus summit. Last year they sold out. It will be happening in Bismarck, October 11th through the 13th. You can register for that. You can just do a Google search or whatever platform you want to use and just look up North Dakota LGBT Summit. So for those of you that are wanting to attend that, provide that support as well, sign up sooner than later.
Yes.
So it's not sold out.
It was so much fun. It's so much fun to come
And
to.
I think the Human Rights Coalition is also having an informal conversation at Bruhala
Yes.
tomorrow at noon.
Yes.
I think to talk about state efforts. So there's that as well.
Yay.
So that's it for events. And then one additional thing as well, many of you probably follow Prairie Briefing online format as well, but just I printed out an article that came out on the 3rd, and I won't read the entirety of it by any means, but looking at that of homelessness. And it was written by Beth Olson, FM Coalition and a homeless member, and really taking a look at the new city's ordinance and resolution about camping and public property, making sure that we understand exactly what can take place, what can't take place, so we can advocate for others as well.
I know school started. One announcement is that Job Corps is reaching out to those who wants alternative learning, like between like 16 and 24. You can go online to jobcorps.com. It's for high school students who are struggling and want alternative learning. If you're done with high school and you just want to further your education or drop out or anything, definitely visit their website.
I think that's funded by the state of North Dakota, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
So look into it.
Is Project RAI doing anything lately? Do you have anything coming up?
Not right now. We are going to be we'll be a sponsor for the summit, though. Yeah. I can't attend the summit this year. I'm just gone too many weekends in October for other things. So unfortunately, I don't get to go to that. But if you can attend.
Courtney, did you have any updates or announcements?
I don't.
Okay.
Oh, I do want to say it was mentioned that we should really keep in mind the MLK and Juneteenth events because some folks are wondering if we will still be sponsoring those and working with like bread and things. So I think we should really, coming up, put a push in for that.
And I mean, that's a good point to make as well, because I think the last Juneteenth, I think that went through the city of Fargo itself.
Yeah.
And so I think Fred came up to the City of Fargo Finance Committee and made and asked them for the City of Fargo directly for like $10,000 or $15,000, and so it's like that was, and so stuff like that's not going to go away. I would assume not. But you're right. That's good to keep on the radar though. 6-7 months.
Yep. Perfect.
And then y'all will start talking about Martin Luther King Jr. Day coming up soon too. That'll be
Yeah.
fun. It does.
Yeah.
I don't know if subcommittees have met over the past month. Anybody that they want to say about those? No?
Legislature starts pretty soon, so.
Does it?
Yeah, the session will start in January, planning, and we'll get hints about bills probably in December.
Okay. I know,
So-
Tom, but I think you were going to be talking with Hamida about that. So maybe in the next few months
Yeah, right.
we get more there. Okay. Anything from staff updates?
Another
sorry.
announcement, vote.
Right.
November, vote in,
Jeez.
vote, re-up about your local candidates. November, I plan on hosting all candidates in the park. I'm not sure the location, so I'm not giving too much details because if it's too cold, it's gonna be in a venue. But
Sure.
what I want to do is bring all local candidates together, and then for the public to just go ahead and ask that question that they're concerned about. I think this would be a great opportunity to kind of like meet each individual candidates without thinking if you're from like the right side or the left side, or you're repping your blue or your red. So I will have more information about this next month. Okay, guys?
Great. Any more updates from that corner from staff? No. Ian, everything we did was okay.
Spot on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so then lastly, we will go into public comment. Do we have anybody signed up?
There's none.
Okay. Did you want to make a comment? No? Yeah. You'll pass? Sure. Yeah, and for whatever it's worth, I mean, small group, we've still got Shane Netterville on the mind. We've still got the ceasefire resolution on our mind. Just so many other small projects that we did that we're scrapping together still. So yeah, more to come in the next few months, I hope. All right, and
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I almost forgot, but yeah, after the vote on Monday, I've been consulting with few individuals here and there, and we trying to call on good people of conscience within the city of Fargo to join us in this fight. We'll be reaching out to you. We can let this just slide. I think we need representation. So the Black struggle has never been fought by just Black people alone. We have had allies from other demographics that have joined in to, move civil rights to where it is today. And we still want to make this passionate plea, this call, still to people of conscience within the city that we would not stand for this. Please join us. Let us petition the city. We can have a change. We still need the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. If we need to revamp it, let us revamp it. If the department failed, it failed because the city leadership failed. Because when you set up something, you have to give a term of reference so it can succeed. So the blame should not be on the department. It should be on the city leadership. So I want to call on good people of conscience. Please join us in this fight. Thank you.
Just want to echo what Saku just shared as well. We want to be an entity to hear your voices. We want to be able to pass that along to various layers of the community. And for those of you that are either watching live or hearing this later as well, I'm comfortable saying I can speak on behalf of fellow human rights commissioners and telling you, you matter. You are valued. You belong. You may not feel like it many times, but we want to be that entity to bridge that gap. And for city commissioners that are filling in the checkbox, challenge you moving forward to take that stand and that of action.
Yeah, and just to piggyback also on Siku, this call isn't just being narrowed down to the black community. It's about all races, right? All people who feel somehow challenged. So this is a public call. It's a public fight. You can join him, like he said. You don't have to be black. Your family don't have to be black. You don't have to have any like black lineage to be a part of it. But it's for all people. It's just civilization, right? We're trying to just try to civilize things and ensure that the people's civic responsibility are being met and being served rightly. Yeah.
So I'm working on a website, and once I'm done, I will come and announce it. As it might be called something like FargoInclusion.com, city of Fargo, something we working on where people can go and sign up, so that we can fight the good fight. Thank you.
All right. And if there's nothing else, this meeting stands adjourned. I don't have dates in front of me, but let me just, the next working session I think will be probably around October, probably second or third. And then the next meeting of the Human Rights Commission, the regular meeting, will be October 17th at noon. So the working session will probably be around the 3rd to keep them out 2 weeks apart. All right, folks, thank you. Have a good day.